Right. Bella, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast there. How you doing?
The pleasure is all mine, Adam. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely welcome, and it's great to connect with you. And I just kind of thought I'd introduce you because you post a lot of great content, and you're like documenting like your journey, um, for where you're at the minute, and you basically, you help these guys that you work with, who
Hmm.
you support, like these call them Iron Men, and they
Yeah,
build like big
the Iron
infrastructure,
Man.
and yeah, yeah, and you help them in what they're doing. And like at the minute, you told me earlier that you're homeless and you're somewhere now for a temporary amount of time, and
Hmm.
then you're moving somewhere else. Kind of what how did you kind of start this journey? Kind of what you're doing. Some of the projects you're working on. So yeah, your kind of like story.
Yeah, I have a very eclectic life and past, my dear
Yeah,
friend. Let me start with I actually studied law, but I never liked to become a lawyer. So I also studied everything that has to do with marketing and communication. And deep in my soul, I always wanted to be the next Steven Spielberg, but I'm close to Hollywood. I was
yeah,
born in Belgium, so that's close to you, but far away from California. And I am at this moment, I'm in homelessness since February 2020, when the biggest COVID crisis worldwide was very known. It started a little bit before that, but in the United States, it really exploded in February 2020. And it was also in that month that I, at a certain moment on February 16th, sat down with, at that time, my family and told them that I had been living in a lie and telling them lies for the past 5 years. So I had to, I don't know what happened to me. I came in, how can I say this? I started in Belgium with a beautiful thing called a storyteller. I was the first person ever who made a location-based app. That was a combination of GPS and PDA. Remember the PDAs before the smartphones? And it was already in 2000. It was a software bridge that we built in between. I'm not a software writer, but I am somebody who knows how to get money and to make big things happening. So on 24th of October 2004, the Storyteller, the first app before there was even an iPhone, was born. And from there, this little girl from, Belgium, got calls from everywhere in the world, from the big companies like Nokia and Garmin, and Mio, from all parts of the world, United States, Asia. And my own country said, hey, we are not going to do a brain drain. You're not going with anybody. You are going to stay in Belgium. We're going to put money in this and we're going to make it, explode because you are onto something. And to make a long story short, it took 3 years to get an investment done. And the day that we signed, first with the bank, because they wanted to have what they call skin in the game, that you also put some money in it. The day that I took the biggest loan of my life, who was like a thing around my neck, was the day that Lehman Brothers in the United States filed for Chapter 11, and later went into the whole thing with the bankruptcies, and all the banks went down worldwide, and we ended up in a financial crisis. And it lasted until 2012, and nobody wanted to invest anymore or buy products in the innovation world. So I had the biggest loan. I had banks who were very nervous because they were going down themselves. And I had to survive. And I did for a long time, until in 2012, I couldn't anymore. And we had to file for bankruptcy. But immediately there was another company called iRespect, written as Iris from your eye and pact. It was a combination, a company in tokens that are so popular these days with the NFTs, but tokens that have to do with security and doing transactions in a safe way. And it was my ticket to the United States. And that made me very happy because I am the mother of a daughter who has juvenile arthritis and who has been in pain ever since being 5 years old. And Unfortunately, the weather in Belgium is a little bit like UK, a lot of rain. And if you have arthritis, older people move to Spain or to, Palm Springs here in the United States. But if your kid is the whole time hurting as a mom, you hurt yourself. So in my crazy mind, I believed in the adventure of going to the United States, making a lot of money, because what she has, only 0 point so many % of the world has that. And, the pharmaceutical industry doesn't invest in people that, if it's not enough return on investment, they don't want to help. So I was like, I'm going to get so rich and I'm going to help my kids and we're going to do it ourselves. And unfortunately, that impatience of, we sold our house, we did everything, we moved to the United States, we had something special with those tokens, with a patent, and then it had to happen in those months, otherwise we would be in a big problem. That impatience and that pressure created so much horrible moments between all shareholders, because there were a lot of people involved, that the whole thing went down the drain when we were like 4 months in the United States. And we didn't have anything anymore. I'm talking 2014. We only had like 50,000 euros left. We had no house in Belgium anymore. The shame was enormous. So as of that moment, I went into, I had been fighting so many years before, since 2008, on a storyteller. And now I was in the States. I had nothing. I had a kid who was the happiest girl in the world because she had no pain in California. And she didn't want to go back to Belgium where she had pain. And I said, I have to survive here. And I didn't see it. I did not see what to do. So I went into a depression. And my daughter came one day to me and she said, Mom, I have an idea with an emoji. I think that if people really like something like a bottle of wine or a hotel or whatsoever, that they could send each other an emoji. And if that other person says, oh, I want to buy the bottle too, that you as a person, like word of mouth or worth of mouth, could get a percentage under the condition that you always would share a little percentage with somebody who needed it, somebody who was homeless or, a special entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. So I loved that idea so much. I got the money together to see if it could fly. And I tried to open the doors to the big ones. I even opened the door to Mark Cuban, not so known everywhere in the world, but here in the United States, Shark Tank, the man who loved Emma's idea, but who said, listen, let's start with R&D. We're not going to talk about money yet. And I was so with my back against the wall that we needed money because we were sleeping. I think we slept in 36 places, that's from one place to another. And then it started. I saw that my daughter was getting, disappointed that it wasn't happening. And I absolutely believe the man, Gary Vee, if he says we do so wrong with giving children like an award for the 4th place, the 5th place, the 8th place to make them feel good, because me, myself, was so scared of disappointing my daughter that I started the biggest lie ever, saying that Facebook was interested. And before I knew, the lie was going around and other people were like, oh, because my husband at that time, he couldn't, he wanted to talk about it and other people wanted to invest. And before I knew, I had people who wanted to invest in an idea of my daughter based on a lie. And honestly, Adam, every day I went deeper and deeper and deeper in the lie. And why am I saying this? Because I absolutely believe I was aware that I was lying, but for some reason it took over on me and I started living the lie. I really started living the lie, and I started creating the biggest fantasies, like the worst catfish, honestly, talking to other people as if everything was happening ever. And I couldn't get out of it anymore. I needed the daily, oh, wow, we're going to do it, just to keep, to stay alive. Otherwise, it was game over. And it was in 2016 that I really was so deep in my life that I said, no, I have to stop. Not a lie, I have to stop my life. So what I did was, it was 2017. I put my daughter on a plane back to Belgium with a little excuse that she could come back because it was that she needed to see her grandparents. And my plan was, I can't get out anymore. It has to stop, you know. And as soon as she was gone, her dog was still with me. I had this hard, very hard days and nights, because it takes a lot of courage, you know, to stop your own life. It's so hard. And I was thinking the whole time, oh my God, what I'm doing, can't life be beautiful? No, it can't, because it's a continuous struggle and everybody's going to be angry with me. I'm so ashamed. I had so much fear that I was like, I'm not a warrior. This life is too hard for me. So I started walking a lot with my dog, or with Emma's dog at that time. And suddenly, I don't know what happened, but I had an idea, you know, to write a book. And that book, it's 681 pages. I wrote it in one thing in, I think, 13 months. That book became my biggest rescue. I was still in a lie, and I created another one because I started living in my book. But by writing my book, I started slowly curing myself. And the book led to the discovery of Gary Vee again, because I already knew him thanks to my daughter in 2014. But honestly, for me, he talked way too fast and way too much. I was like, I don't understand this man, you know?
Yeah.
So in 2018, I discovered him again. And every day I listened to what he was saying, and it built up to a courage on the 16th of February 2020 that I finally dared to say to everybody. First, my daughter, and it was the hardest. I lied and I told the whole story. And the fact, you know, that I was able to do that, and that I felt so much, I don't know what that happens to me. I know that everybody was sitting there and there was anger, and some people are still so bitter because of what I did. And I fully understand that. I will take my accountability for whatever I did wrong. But what the most important that Gary Vee has taught me, and the reason why I'm doing interviews, is that you cannot stay in your own prison in your head and keep feeling guilty, because that is how you get into depressions again, and worse, in very dark thoughts. And you know, it's everybody has something, everybody has beautiful things. What happened to me is my partner at that time almost tried to kill me and my daughter. I don't know if he would have been going through with it, but the atmosphere I was there, my daughter had to escape. It's a long story, and I don't want to how you say that, I don't want to crucify anybody, because I am the one who made the mistakes. I have to have empathy for every reaction that followed. People bitter, angry, furious. It was my mistake. But now it's also my choice to show that I am finally the person that I always was deep down. And true, I have a huge fantasy. It allows me to create the most beautiful books, and every day to make a post on Instagram just like that. I don't even have to think 2 minutes, you know, I just make one. But it also has activated lying. So I fight every day not to lie, and at the same time to show not only people who are lying as well, because everybody has sometimes things, you know, and sometimes big things that they are hiding, but also the families that are surrounding them, the partners, the husbands and wives, the children, that, you know, just like you can break an arm, you can break your brain. You absolutely can. And we have to start accepting that we need people like psychologists and psychiatrists. Not that I had some people helping me in the first month when it all happened, because my partner became so angry that I ended up in a shelter, you know, for abused women in February 2020. That closed after 3 weeks because of COVID. So I was on the streets in Los Angeles. There were no flights to Belgium because of COVID. And I had to start surviving. And I luckily had some therapists talking to me. And I knew that I was a strong woman. So ever since that day until this day, I have been going from cleaning the streets in LA, recycling, and eating eggs. No, I'm not kidding, for like 3 months. But recycling every day, bringing the plastic and everything I found to a recycle center. And just surviving to ending up in a warehouse of where they make iron doors. And absolutely falling in love with those mentality of those Iron Men, Hispanic guys, heart of gold. I have no reason to complain. Those people came from places like Guatemala, El Salvador, where there was a lot of torture. They walked all the way to the United States. They almost died, of exhaustion and no water and whatever. And they still support a whole family back in their Latin America country, while at the same time doing all the correct rules in the United States. So I'm like, and when the whole thing with Gary Vee happened, they were there to help me. So I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful, and I am honestly, I am the most happy person alive, even if there is so much uncertainty about, because in this house, I will still be staying for a few days. On June 1st, I'm literally on the street because this goes down. They're going to build something new. And I have no fear, zero, because I'm free. I'm free of my lies. I'm finally living the life that I always wanted. And I'm talking way too much.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's really nice, hearing, your experiences and, like your story, what you've been through. And, like at the beginning, like you were saying, you had this idea and, like to create this kind of map / kind of GPS thing, if that's right. And, you tried pitching it, to other places and they were interested, but, like your own country kind of wants to keep the reins on it. And we're like, this is, our gem, we can kind of make something of this. And then, like you took, loans to put money into it and all the rest of it. And then that didn't work out. And then you're trying to make just, amends meet with everything happening. And then, that financial crisis that happened many years ago. And then, you're just trying to survive and get moved forward with this idea. And, like it's just a miracle how you've been able to push on and just keep on going and push forward, and I think that's that's survival at its core, isn't it? With your daughter and things like that, trying to create something. And then like that idea with that she had, that is it, Shark Tank, with the company kind of don't want to invest in it like straight away. Wasn't saying no, but you just need something to keep going. And I think like where you're at now and kind of moving forward, you had to look after your daughter and send her home. And I think it's like you said, and being accountable for what you're doing and where you're at in your life. And I think sometimes like we can kind of paint a certain story, story to people because we don't want to probably feel ashamed or whatever. So we can sometimes lie, and then it's not easy. I imagine taking that kind of accountability and saying this is what is it, this is what it is, and this is what's happening to.
It's true. Yeah, it's very hard to work to the point where you really have to, have the talk and have to say to people, especially, I will never, ever forget, and I almost get emotional saying it, but the disappointment in Emma's eyes when I told her that I had been lying ever since 2014. And we were 2020 when I was saying it. But I told her, I said, Mama did it to keep you also alive, because Emma has been in so much pain, honestly. And, have a child that hasn't a lot of sleep because of the pain, literally physical pain, because arthritis is something, people that are older understand that, but if you are a young child and you have pain every day and you have to take medication that only makes you sleep for 2-3 hours and then you're wide awake again and it gives you a depression. It makes you darker and darker and darker. I cannot say how many talks she had with me that she wanted to end her life, and she was so young, and I am a mother with so much life energy, and I could not understand that. It's so hard to understand. If I could, I would have put a USB stick in my head that I could see in her world, I was like, I thought, we got a dog for her. I did everything for her to keep her alive. And then I had to say that and I was so scared, but in all honesty, Adam, if there's one hero in this story, it's her. It's this kid is, yesterday she graduated. She has the highest score of the whole high school. We couldn't afford anything else. They did it for free because they saw the story that she went through. I'm so grateful. They can say a lot of things about the American system and school system, but when things go down the drain, there's such a beautiful amount of people, who really help you and try to pull you through. I have nothing but respect for the school that she went. And she has been surviving as well. We haven't seen each other now. We are together again, but we haven't seen each other for 9 months because I was living in a warehouse and she, thanks to the school, could live somewhere else and get her education. And it was very hard because I know she was still very angry with me, but I just have been showing Mom does everything right now. And one day I hope you can forgive me. And we are getting, I have such a beautiful relationship now with my daughter. It's, if you tell the truth and you take your accountability and you lead the way, magic really happens, And I'm so happy. I really think that coming from Belgium, I come from a culture that is a lot of keeping up appearances, and if you fail, then you're burned for life. And I'm so grateful for being here in this part of the United States. I think it's the same in New York, but here in the Silicon Valley area, where people, really have the mindset of, hire fast, fire faster, and promote fastest. And it goes so quick. And if it goes down, you just learn and you get up. This is the best gift I could ever give to my daughter. And I hope that the world now, with being so connected with internet, and especially what is happening with Gary Vee, that they see that ecosystem and that everybody, wherever you live, whether it's in Pakistan or UK or Belgium or Australia, everybody can plug in now. That wasn't back in 2008. I made such a huge mistake by believing I had to help Belgium to keep software there and technology and future. That's such a wrong way of thinking. The world is one village right now, thanks to internet. And I'm so happy that I'm out of that keeping up appearances life, and that I am what I am, and I'm not ashamed. And I know that there are still people bitter for what I did. I know that there's still people who try to, hurt me. And I hope that one day I can prove to them, or that they can get rid of that bitterness, because a bitter heart, I have been bitter for a long time, is only killing yourself in the end, And I feel horrible that I'm the person that has created in some hearts that bitterness. So I will have to work as hard and good as I can, to fix that.
I think like what you said, like as well, you're really grateful and, for where you are and, taking accountability for everything. And I think, it's nice that, your daughter has this opportunity, to, be where she is, and to graduate and be at school and to have education, and that you're there for her, and, that you are on, a positive page now. And I think, that's growth on her side as well, kind of moving on and pushing forward. And I think, like, okay, things may have happened in the past, but, you're not that same person that you were, X, Y, Z time ago. Do you know what I mean? And
I am finally who I am. I am finally who I was meant to be. I was just hiding it, but I am fine. And I think you're absolutely right. Emma is prepared for any war. She has been going through the wars. She's seen how to survive. But she also has learned what I call to celebrate what I call champagne moments, even if it's a small thing, you know, that we're able to afford. One time that mama doesn't have to cook, but we can actually buy something of her favorite restaurant. And that happens like once in a blue moon, but that moment is magic, you know. Or that the dog, because our dog was also placed by the police, and we got him back after 10 months. The fact that he came back to the family for her was the best thing in the world, you know, because Joey came back. So I'm really so grateful that all these things are happening, and she too. And right now we are in a very difficult situation, you know, because we have to wait for social security numbers. Everything is arranged, and in the meantime we cannot work, so we have to survive by being creative within the framework that the US laws allowed. So that's why I am cooking. You know, people sometimes think that I own an iron shop or iron art business, but I am only the chef in the kitchen. I'm doing the cooking for them, and of course I help them clean the iron, because by doing that, most important thing, if your iron ever rust, it means you didn't have a good enough cleaner to start with, a primer. But anyway, things that I didn't know, but the fact that I do that has warmed the hearts of the people that they are working for so much that they said, hey, we still have an old house in which we keep our antique stuff. You can survive there as long as you want until we have to knock the house down. And yeah, you know, all these things are like, wow, how amazing that I'm able to do it. How amazing isn't it to be able to live in so many places in the United States amongst so many cultures. I have lived in the Persian culture, the Russian culture, the American culture, the Jewish culture, you know, the Hispanic culture. That is, I mean, there's no money in the world. There's no holiday in the world who can bring what we have gotten. We have learned their food, their religions, how also the Armenian community. I mean, how many people can say that, you know? And then with this story, and each time once again explaining how wrong I was, and then still feeling the warmth of the people saying, but now you're doing good. It's
sorry.
You know, that is something that empowers me to say, I'm so happy that I'm able to have the possibility to communicate, because I know that a lot of people, you know, in these Corona times, there's going to be there already is, but it's going to be bigger economical crisis. I don't want to be pessimistic, but it's a fact, you know, and people will have to downsize and go to apartments and sell cars and everything. I want them, by seeing me, I hope they see that you find a happiness that is way bigger than every day your 9-to-5 life and your rat race and your bills that you have to pay. You find something that is the most beautiful magic of life. And to all other people who want to help people who are homeless or whatever they're going through, if I have learned anything, it's not in giving $100, really it isn't. It is in making people feel valuable. You know, the Hispanic guys in the warehouse where I was staying, they saw me eat eggs for 3 months. Every day they offered that they would pay for my food. I could not accept it. I felt, first of all, guilty because it was all my fault. I had been lying. I had to do this. And at the same time, I felt so, you know, it made it worse if they would pay for my food. I was ashamed. But the moment that they came with the idea, why don't you make our food? You buy the ingredients and you eat with us. And that is our way of paying back for your work. Then we don't have to eat a Subway every day or this. What do you think? That is where I started growing again. And then they said, here, you want to clean some iron? Then we bring you something extra for... That is the most important. All the places where we have shelters where homeless people are, and I have seen the worst of the worst. I have been living with homeless. I have seen people who take a lot of drugs and everything. I have seen people who are really crazy, but if they get medication, they can be cured. We have to reinvent the whole system. We have to make people feel valuable again. That is really the answer. Make them feel valuable. When that whole thing with Gary Vee happens, and he said that there would be some free giveaways, I never, Adam, for 1 second in my mind said, I'm going for a giveaway. Never. I said, I will have one. And it was one Ethereum. And okay, the price of Ethereum changes the whole time. But at the time that I looked, it was $2,700. And I had zero. Well, I had $40. And I said, I am going to make that money. I don't know how, but it's going to happen because I will be part of the OGs. And I am, because I wanted to feel valuable in the community. I didn't just, and that doesn't mean that people who get a giveaway are not valuable. But for me, it was so important because I'm like, I have hands, I have a brain, I have a mouth, and I have guts, and I have to do it. And I did. So that's the only reason, honestly, why I am on social media. What I like the most is writing and being with another name and then publishing the book. But I feel like I have a story to tell, and if I can change one life, it would be already, the best thing to do.
No, I love that, all that you're doing, and like you said, you're helping, these people who are building, through, making them food, and you didn't want to take, their money for, buying your own food, and I think, like you said, there is that growth there, isn't there? There is that realization there, by, you're not lying, you're mindful of, your life and what you want and what you're doing. And, you're giving them back, and, they're helping you, you're helping them. And, you can't buy all those life experiences, that you've had. Okay, you've been in, probably not the nicest places and, amongst a lot of different things, but those experiences of meeting those different cultures, different people, seeing how they live, and like you mentioned, like I think one of the most important things as well, like feeling valued, and I think that is the kind of main kind of foundation, isn't it? People want to feel valued. You go into a relationship with someone, you want to feel valued. You go into a job, you want to feel valued, and that's something that I'm thinking about. What is it that I've wanted in relationships or jobs, and I think that feeling valued is so key, I think, in life as a person. And you're feeling valued because the people are helping you, they're going to feel valued. It's that exchange, isn't it? And it's so important.
Absolutely. It's the win-win, it's really the win-win that you both end up, because the thing is, my Hispanic team has diabetes. And they all had, I'm not joking, they had to take a shot of insulin every morning and evening. The morning 60 and the evening 65, which is a lot for people who know that. And I got them in 7 months' time on 15 in the morning and 10 in the evening, just by changing their diets. I didn't know anything about that. I have to do a shout out to my sister. It's not my sister by blood, but my sister in heart, Frida, who is a nurse who did she took me to a supermarket. She told me everything they could eat and couldn't eat. I wrote down, I studied with her. And ever since, I am cooking every single day. And those guys, they all stopped drinking because they like to drink a beer in the evening. Nobody drinks anymore. They all work on their body, although they are really Iron Man. They already have, the 6 packs. But hey, and they are so happy, I'm not kidding you. They are so happy that finally, well, there's one who hasn't got the 6 pack, but he's working on it.
Yeah.
Not that is necessary for me.
Yeah. You're like a personal trainer as well.
No, hell no, I wouldn't go that, but because I have to lose weight myself. But I'm so happy that those people feel so good, because I didn't just make them food. I got, I allow them, well, who am I, of course, to have tortillas once in the week when I'm not cooking for them on Sunday. But for the rest, they are, and they love it. In the beginning, it was, where's the tortilla? Now it's okay. So.
That's awesome. No, I love that. I love that. You've been able to help them, and their diet, as well. And you've given something back, and you've helped them,
Absolutely.
change their
Absolutely.
lives. Think about
Absolutely.
what they're doing.
And,
Because
and, it's all about being conscious in life, honestly, because these men really set me down. Sometimes they're working very hard, and then they see something in nature and they start explaining something. They're so conscious. They see the butterfly, but they also see other things that are changing. And in my rat race before, or in my depression and being delusional, I didn't see the world anymore. I just saw every day survive, and now I enjoy everything. It's true. I lived in that warehouse. I didn't know how a cockroach looked like until my daughter arrived. I was already living there for 4 months, and I were like, oh, look at these nice crickets.
Yeah.
Her school ended, so she arrives in the warehouse. That was last year. And the first thing she sees a cricket, and she says, Mom, it's full of cockroaches. Yes, is that a cockroach?
Oh my gosh.
As of that day, she left because it was impossible. It was way too painful for her to stay there. We didn't have a bed. We were literally sleeping on the floor. But the mindset is so crazy. 4 months, I had no problem with it, that they were everywhere, even running over me. As of that moment, I was scared, and there were rats and taquachis. I forgot the name in English. But I somehow said, if I can survive through this, and I started to, accept the things how they were, and to beat my fears step by step. So everything, even living in North Hollywood and Hanoi, which is really the industry zone of Los Angeles, in between the homeless everywhere, people who are shouting, scream, I was never scared, never. Because I knew I had enough empathy to know where those people were. I really had, even because there were, and at a certain time, it was a whole story with Black Lives Matter, and it was really dangerous. And I have helped so many people because so many people were angry, I have so many people by listening to them, sitting with them, I have helped so many people with the money that I made. I always shared. I made one video. I have shared for 7 months my food. I made one video of one lady that I helped. One. All the rest I didn't show because that's what I mean. It's hard, if you go to a homeless and you say, hey, what do you want? Can I buy you some clothes? And then you make a video for your own PR, and you give them clothes, and those people are standing there. It breaks my heart, Adam. Yeah. It breaks my heart to see that if somebody does that to me, I would be so, because give me value, allow my value. What can I do for you? And everybody has something. Everybody, especially today with internet, wherever you are, you can make money. Gary Vee is so right. You can, stop making excuses. No excuses. It's the same as no regrets. Make sure you have no regrets. No excuses, no regrets. That's what goes through my mind the whole time. 0 excuses, 0 regret. Just do. And if you fail and fall as often and as fast as possible, and get up again. That's honestly the truth. And if people are saying, aren't you ashamed? I know with my family in Belgium, a lot of people are like, but I don't want to accept 1 penny from Belgium because I don't deserve that. And B, that wouldn't get me anywhere, then I would still, no, I have to get up, create energy, and it will come by itself. So, and that's what I want to do with those homeless. How many people that I showed the way to pick up the dirt off the street, go to the recycle center, even if you only get $8 a day. With $8 a day, you can buy already food. And if it's your choice to buy alcohol, it's your choice. But you can buy food and you can climb up. We already have 4 people who got out of it just by doing that. So
definitely.
Yeah.
It's really powerful, isn't it? There is a way out. If you're willing to work hard and you're willing to find that way and make a choice and take that action, ultimately decide, isn't it? You make a decision. And, you talk about those experiences that you went through, sleeping, in certain places with rats and cockroaches and things like that. And, what I'm hearing from what you've been saying is these experiences, even though they weren't, the nicest, they've given you that perspective, and they've made you so like resilient to be able to cope and push through and move forward in other
Absolutely.
situations, like what,
Absolutely.
when you said like going into situations with other homeless people where it's pretty dangerous, pretty noisy, you are grounded and you're okay, and I think when you've been through certain things in your life, it does kind of give you that perspective and that outlook on life, especially when
Absolutely.
you've stepped away from things that you weren't happy doing, and you're doing something where you feel free and kind of liberated doing, if that makes sense, and you're kind of
Absolutely.
moving forward.
And you know what it is, Adam? Even living there in that warehouse, I see the Iron Hispanic men, who all left their families not behind, because every day they dream of their country. So many people say, oh my God, and look at all that immigration. Everybody wants to live in the United States. These people dream of their country, their youth, their mountains, their volcanoes, whatever they have there. They didn't want to put their children to that, to come here, because they are abused so many times, honestly. They are abused by people who see their color and then think, oh, make me an iron gate quick, and it's not going to cost that much, because you're Hispanic. It's not that way. Those people are craftsmen. They worked, they all went to school until the age of 10 years old, then had to start working on cotton fields, I'm not kidding you, or cornfields. They all learned themselves their craftsmanship. They have so much experience, and they all have families and children and grandchildren in the meantime, who are living in houses in Latin America that have no electricity. For internet, they have to go to a community place so that once a week they can have access to their father. They have no running water. They have to step every day an hour to get running water, and they have no toilets. So who am I to complain living in a warehouse where there's a normal toilet, where those Hispanic man puts, I don't know if you ever saw the video, because I have documented every single thing, but they took a hose, a hose like you do to water the garden,
shower,
put it upside down. And in the warehouse, here I haven't, but in the warehouse I had warm water. So I was standing under a hose in a big bucket every day, to take my shower, to wash myself. And the crickets honestly were running around because they love water. They come, That was every day my biggest nightmare. When the night came, the crickets, so the cockroaches, came until the morning. At 6 o'clock they were disappeared. I had to survive the night, but I was thinking, those people there in Latin America, honestly, if they go to the toilet, they get bitten in, pardon my words, their ass by cockroaches. So who am I to complain? And we have stories like that in Africa and India, in Latin America. It's not, I come from a different world, safe world in Belgium, and then ended up on the streets. And those people, when the Hispanic guys call their family, they have so much energy, beautiful energy. They know what they are missing because they have access to internet, but at the same time, they know that one day their moment will come, and they keep on going and keep on fighting. So I have absolutely zero reasons to complain. Zero. I'm very fortunate to be homeless in California. Very.
No, that's it. And I think, it's that gratitude, isn't it, in looking what you have, and, like that perspective that, there are other people out there who got it far more worse, and who are probably, going through lots of different things. And they're, there's that quote, isn't there, there's always someone out there who's kind of got it worse than ourselves, or in a more difficult situation. So I think being grateful for what you have, and having that mindset of especially when you've been living in certain places, and you can look back on your past experiences of where you are now, and how grateful you are to be where you are, especially in the States, in the particular state that you're in as well, and have that support. And I think like there's that, it's important sometimes to experience certain things or be uncomfortable or go without sometimes, it kind of makes you appreciate things. It's like,
Oh,
if I go camping in you're outside camping and then, there's no shower or there's a cold shower. And then when you have a hot shower, you appreciate a lot more, because you've not had X, Y, Z, or if the weather's not very good and then it is nice. It's that
but
balance and that contrast
but
of kind of
but
everything.
even there, I'm sorry that I interrupt you. I
No, it's
don't know
fine.
if you follow my story. I have lost a lot of teeth. I make my teeth myself. I don't know if I have it here. I always have my emergency kits with me.
Oh my
No, I
gosh.
think I put it every day, not everywhere. Every week I make a teeth. I can literally plop my teeth out. I made them. It's an invention that was once years ago on Shark Tank, and I ordered it. It cost me $40, and I can
That's
make my baby
incredible.
teeth with it. Yeah, honestly, I can. Well, it would be amazing
Yeah.
to do it now, but that's the truth. I have videos of me doing it right now. The only
Wow.
thing is that the teeth color. So if you, for instance, drink tea or something, then the
Yeah.
white becomes slightly. So that's why I have to change it. But anyway, I have had a lot of
Wow.
toothaches in the last year. I can't go
Yeah.
to a dentist because I don't have the right papers. As soon as I discovered cold showers, it was screaming every day, because imagine I'm here in a place in California where it snowed. It was
Yeah.
ice cold. There's no heating, and it's ice cold water. But suddenly, I don't know what happened. After like 2 or 3 weeks, I learned how to breathe in a different way and to control everything. And now I would never, ever take a hot shower ever again, nor a hot bath, because it
Wow.
does something like meditation in your head. I'm not
Mm.
kidding you. And it teaches you to cope with everything in life, even with my toothache. So for some reason, I'm like, where are all these blessings coming from? At first, I'm like, oh my God, and look at me.
Mm.
And then it's like, wow, look at this, It's such a,
It's
our
incredible.
body, our body is so strong. Our mind is so strong. We are such a beautiful creation. Honestly,
Mm.
it's such a pity, but I know we have to be patient that for humanity, what is happening, for instance, now in Israel and Palestine, it's such,
Mm.
humanity is still like a teenager, we make
Mm.
mistakes or sometimes, but I know that together we are growing somewhere. And that's why I was fighting so hard, to be part of that Gary V community of what he's doing with NFTs, because I see way more than all those doodles that he has made. I see that those doodles are going to be the next Mickey Mouse, and that they are going to teach the kids of the kindergarten what patience is. And if you're an entrepreneur, that it's the life journey and not working so that at 25 you can sit at a swimming pool in Calabasas with a lot of champagne next to you. Because, the thing is, when I was homeless, and I joined the Ironman, we did a lot of things. This is the longest project. I ended up in the most expensive zip codes of the United States, the Silicon Valley area. All those people that we worked for, they were so amazing to me. Nobody ever knew that I was homeless. Nobody, because I slept in the car, but they didn't know. Every single day we put the most beautiful gates and all kinds of work. They thought I was in command of all the Hispanics. I always said no, but they talk to me. If they see one day my story, they're gonna be, what? Was she homeless? But why do I say that? Because all those people gave me talk to me, and it was Corona time, and they all had so many fears. Many fears, because they have 40 million and more homes that they were building. And suddenly the whole economy was collapsing. And at the same time, they said, we are a little bit happy that this is happening because we were so bored with life. So if anything that Gary Vee is doing with his thing, build your passion, take 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get somewhere, have some champagne moments in between, whatever you want to do. But life is the journey. Life is not the destination. I know it's an old wisdom, but it's true, because Emma, my daughter, went to school with the richest children of the world. The richest. She was homeless. They are the richest. But they had the same depressions and the same, because, you know, so it's such wise lessons to be able to see, you know, that everybody has his struggles, and for that reason, I am so grateful for what Gary is doing, that he is going to bring so much life wisdom. I absolutely believe that this is going to make brands into love brands. I mean, I believe that this has the power that a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or whoever comes up with a very healthy and multi-popular, as popular as Coca-Cola drink, but based on a new humanity who doesn't think about we have to put stuff in there so that people get addicted, but that puts things in there that people get healthy, and because of that praise the company and want to support that company and become all like micro stakeholders, you know. So I see a beautiful future. I myself am so happy. I only got this token, NFT token of Gary V, thanks to an amazing brand. It's a very young brand. They only exist for 2-3 years. It's called Machuca World. Their first product is rum, and then they have cigars and apparel coming. It's all luxury things. But the heart of those people, when they heard what I went through, and they saw that I was saying, oh my God, I have been cleaning the streets, you know, to get money for Gary V. I have been making my own hammocks, really. 3 times I had
We've
to
been making
start
our own
again.
hammocks as well.
Oh,
wow.
yeah. Yeah, I had this crazy idea. I had to get to $2,700 from $40 in no time, because I only had 1 month. So I started cleaning the streets first. I had $70. With that, I bought a framework and how you call that, wool or cotton, you know, to start. Then I got instructions. My Spanish is not that good yet, but we managed for 2 days with people in Latin America who make them every day. And I started to make my own hammock, made videos every single day, and said, hey, who wants to buy my hammock? Because I have to get to 2,700. I sold 7 hammocks from the people in Latin America, but nobody bought mine. So I was like, oops, you know, and I kept on going. So I was like, no, I have to go back to the streets, but I have to get to LA, because there is the best price for dirt. I can't say it differently. And I am at this moment 6 hours away from LA. So I got to LA thanks to some people who were willing to bring me there. For almost 48 hours, I kept on, you know, recycling, brought all the dirt, and I ended up with $700. So I was still $2,000 short. And my Iron Man, when I came back here, they saw that I was going like a crazy on the hammock again, because I would not give up, 0 regrets. And then they asked me, you know, at an evening, sit with us. We are going to make you a big proposal. We are giving you a loan of $2,000. You have 2 years time to pay it back. Otherwise, whatever NFT you have is ours. But let's do this together. So I was like, these guys have such a golden heart. I had 2,700. I bought my Ethereum, and then it got stuck in Coinbase, because Coinbase didn't recognize my temporary identity papers, because my ex destroyed all my identity papers, and I had to wait until December. And Coinbase doesn't have live agents unless you are a pro Coinbase user. So you pay like, I don't know what amount in a month.
Certain amount.
So I kept on doing everything. Then nothing happened. I was able to find somebody who was willing, 2 cars, to drive me to San Francisco, to the headquarters, one of the headquarters of Coinbase, on a Sunday, to put a help ladder. I'm not kidding. I was standing at the building, and I didn't know which one it was, because I think they have another name on top of their Coinbase name. So I put it in one and wrote on the envelope, please, if you know on which floor Coinbase is, can you pass it on? I never heard something. Then I tried by means of Discord, Instagram, to find people to help me. I had amazing good luck that somebody of MetaMask said, let me help you. And he told me, you have to do these actions, that. And while I was doing it, I was already 3 days working with that person. I suddenly, the moment that I was going to hit a button that would free my money, I had something like, it's sometimes like I'm getting help from above, don't do it. There's something wrong. And it turned out to be a fissure. So I came up with a lie. That was that was a good thing. I said, oh my God, because he put me in this position that I had to go to an ATM machine. So I was standing somewhere in a liquor store and at the same time be on my Coinbase and my MetaMask where money was on. And it was like 2 minutes to 7 p.m. And I said, oh my God, they're closing the liquor store. Can we do that tomorrow again? And he said, okay, no problem. So I studied the whole night because he had my seed phrase, how I could get out of it, transferred all the money, left $10 just to check, is it true? And it was true. They took the $10, got all the other money out. Then it was also stuck. And the auctions of Gary started 2 days later. I had the money, but I couldn't get it out. And I was like, okay, zero regrets. Wow. Until that evening that I said, no, I'm not going to have zero regrets. I'm going to fight until the last day I need an NFT. So I created the aspiring title for myself, Bape. Bape of VIP, the Gary V intellectual property, and Bape as BAIP, brand adopting IP of Gary V. And I contacted so many companies to say, why don't we buy an NFT together? I will be the mother, you will be the father. And after 1 hour, one brand called me, Machuca. I have to show you. I'm sorry, Adam. It's not, but
no, it's okay.
People deserve it. When they're around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have been cooking with it. I don't drink alcohol, but I've been cooking with it. And the CEO called me and he said, explain to me NFT. And I did nothing but explaining what it would do and so on. And I said, we have to. And he said, after that hour, I'm buying NFT. You're going to VCon. We are going to have this NFT together and we are going to make magic together. And 9 hours later, Boss Bobcat was born. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
So don't ever think it's not possible, Don't ever think it's not possible. It is. You just have to keep on going.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. That is so incredible. That is like one of the most incredible stories of triumph over adversity and, consistency and persistence and just willing just to kind of push through the dirt to kind of get, what you really want, to create, to not give up, to keep pushing forward, to keep on, even
that's what happiness is. That's what, and even doesn't happen because I know that there are so many people right now. They are still very happy because Gary is still doing, when we are recording this, Sunday is coming and Gary is going to do giveaways on Sunday evening, of very special NFTs. And everybody is, that community is amazing. But I know that when Sunday is over, some people are going to be bitter. And that my story is, don't be bitter, get better, be bigger than that. Make sure VCon is still, I think, next year in February, I think. You have time to make sure that you also will be there. And that maybe he, creates something especially for you. You don't give up. And at the same time, together with the guys of Machuca World, I am going to make something, I call it micro stakeholdership, that the people who want to be on VARC, that by means of our Boss Bobcat, they still can in some way all together. It's better, that we all have a little percentage of whatever could be than to have 50% of a little thing, I really want to show that that is possible and we will make it work.
Yeah, definitely. No, I love all that you're doing, and it's really amazing, hearing your story, like section of your story and what you've been through, what you're doing, how you move forward, and you're not giving up, and you're continuing to grow and to follow what's right in your path, and to help other people on the way, and to learn and to be accountable, accept what's happened, move on. I just really commend you, for all that you're doing. I think you're an amazing person, and
I honestly owe my life to Gary V, his wisdom, and his community, and you are part of that. And that's where I owe my real life, my true life to. All those amazing people. There's Bunny, there's Linda, there's Frida, there's Tammy. There are so many. Well, you know Tammy too. There are so many people. When I made my first post on Instagram, crying, sitting in a shelter, saying all my lies. And I thought that the whole world would say, well, what comes around goes around, you know. Now you have, and there were people who said, no, come on, now you can start again, because I'm almost 50. Come on, no, don't give up. And it's not just Gary V, it's a whole community. What an amazing community did that man make. I know there are a lot of motivational speakers, but they stand on the stage and you get like pumped up, and you're like pumped up for 3 days. And then it's back to the rat race. What he has done, he doesn't only do every day confronting you, well, not confronting, but informing you. But at the same time, he has made like this huge live game with that whole thing with the NFTs, in which we all are going to fight with him to make it work. So who does that? I don't see any motivational speaker ever doing that. That is, and you know, I know there's a lot of wisdom in philosophers, ancient old philosophers, of course, in so many religions. I have respect for everything. But this man tells the story that everybody can understand it. And by means of his creatures, his doodles, his whatever bobcats and pandas, it's going to go to children, to grandparents. I'm so happy to be part of this era and the Elon Musk era, my two heroes. That I'm so grateful to live in the same time as them. And I'm sorry that I say so much I, because I'm telling my story.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, but sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, oh, Bella.
No,
you know?
no. Of course. I mean, you've got a lot of experience, and, you know, like, it's really good that, you know, you've been able to encapsulate it in this time. And I think, like, I'm really grateful, you know, to be part of that community as well. Like, you know, I've met you, I've met, you know, and I know Tammy, I know, you know, like Kristen, you know, Dustin, you know, like, it's a whole list of people, you know, I've had on the podcast or met through that community, and some awesome people, you know, like yourself. And it's, you know, it feels like a family, you know, like, even though you might not have met those people in person, you know, it's a family. And
but it is, you know, I have written my book. It's 681 pages, and I am NFTing every single page because it will be coming to market within a year. It's going to be exciting because I'm awesome. It's a very. I have learned something thanks to talking to so many publishers, that the makeup you use. I used to say it's a book about. You know, it's hotter than 50 Shades of Grey. That's what I used to say, which is the truth. It's the truth. I wrote it in a period that I was, I don't know what happened to me. Even if I read it myself, I'm sometimes like, wow, did I write it? But I did, you know. But it's hotter than 50 Shades of Grey, but it is emotional. It's so much sexual and emotional intelligence that is in there, you know. And it has, how can I say, it has the framework of a castle novel, you know, the castle novels in which the lawyers fall in love with the doctors with the nurses and everything. But in between, I will say the main characters are really main characters of flesh and blood. I mean, there is burps, there is farts, there's everything in it. So it's not like the magic world of 50 Shades of Grey. I have to say, it's real life. And if anything, I have learned two things. If you're in a relationship that is not yours, because, you know, I was in a toxic relationship for many years. And that's because we didn't match. It's not his fault or my fault. It's our fault that we kept on going. Whatever, you know, religion said you have to stay together. And then the things get more and more toxic. If I really think it's like in business, you know, fall and fail as fast as possible and start over again. Why would you be unhappy with the wrong person? But at the same time, if you have the right person, it's still not easy, because imagine having the right person, but you have to keep it sexy and interesting for 50 years or longer. So that's why I wrote the book. It's a book that is full of things. I once made years ago desk research for something for television called human sexual behavior around the world. And everything I learned there, I have put in the book, but of course in a fiction story. So to really keep things exciting and interesting, and it's sexual intelligence, but it's a lot of humor. And at the same time, it is absolutely hotter than 50 Shades of Grey. It is.
That's awesome. And like, when you release it, I'm happy to kind of, have a look at it. And, if you want me to share anything, I'm happy to do that. And
oh, yeah. The reason why I say it, Adam, is because you were talking about the Gary Vee community. A lot of women, also men, in the Gary Vee community are already part. I give my NFTs, the first 50 I give for free. So I think I have almost 50 people right now. The first, because I have 680 pages,
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing that I did with my book is I have created all kinds of spin-offs in the book, that the book, when you close it, like with 50 Shades of Grey, it doesn't stop with the book nor with the movie. But my biggest passion in the last years, and I never stopped one day, has been virtual reality. I've been on that since almost 15 years. And in my book, I have prepared everything so that the story can continue in virtual reality. And
that's awesome.
I cannot wait until to bring that to the world,
Yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. I'm excited to see it, and
me too.
to read it. Yeah, it'll be awesome. And I wish you all the best in in your book and everything that you're doing. And I just want to say, it's an absolute pleasure like having you on the podcast and talking to you. And you're welcome. And for you to share your experiences and all that you're doing and where you're at. And we can definitely touch base, soon, and we can continue, like with your journey and everything that you're doing. And where can people find you on social media or, Instagram and that kind of thing?
Excuse me?
Where can people find you on like Instagram and social media and that kind of
I always have the same handle. My name, Bella, and then _iron, because people call me the Iron Lady, not only because I work with iron, but for the iron mindset. And then _Ella. And Ella is the main character in my book.
That's awesome. No, I love it.
Yeah. And I'm everywhere. I'm also, except for LinkedIn there, I have made something, but I haven't been on it because I'm too busy with so many things. But Instagram, TikTok, and Discord are really my and Clubhouse. Oh, and Hi-Ho. Yeah, well, always the same name. Yeah.
No, it's awesome, and I'll put those links in the bio for people to find you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and welcome. Thank you so much. I have no clue, zero, how long we have been talking. I honestly don't know, Adam. I don't. I'm sorry. I have no idea, but I feel it's not 30 minutes.
It's okay. No, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I'm just so happy to have you on the podcast and for you to share your experiences, and you're an amazing person, and for what you've gone through, there's a lot of motivation, inspirational, life experiences where people can take a lot from your journey and a lot of things that we've been talking about. But it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you all the best in all that you do.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. I will be supporting you and all your podcasts. And when I'm not doing Iron for the next days anymore, but when I was always listening into or Gary Vee or you or the people of wannabe fee friends. Sorry, wannabe. That's the right thing. Also an amazing podcast and live. So and keep on going and growing. Yeah. I mean, you have an amazing. You have something that I am not so good at. You are an amazing listener, and you listen while your eyes say a lot of things. So I don't know if someone ever said that to you. Wow, there goes my voice. Yeah. But that is absolutely a skill and a quality, and I would absolutely recommend that you keep on going in that.
Yeah. No, thank you, Bella. Thank you. Really means a lot. Really means a lot to me, and I appreciate all your support and your kindness and kind words, and I'll keep on going, and I really appreciate everything. It really means a lot, and I look forward to having you back on again.
We will, with the book.
Yeah, that's it, exactly, and more NFTs.
The book, Machuca
Yeah.
World, and Gary V. That
Yeah.
those are my worlds. Oh, and Ireland. Oh, why not?
That's it. Yeah. But no, have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Take care. You're welcome.